すぎるよね。
確かに。
これを捨てるのは無理すぎる。朝一からどうしたらいいんだろうこれ。まだ食べられるわ。
マジ？
うちにはカニがいる。なんていうの。
うちにはカニがいる。じゃあ
カニを食べなきゃいけないって。
カニ、クラブ。They are crab in my house, in our house, at home. Antonio San Juvenal was born into an orphan family in 1900. Despite his passages, his was an assistant to the family. Introduction. The balloon linked together two walks. This balloon links together two walks. During Antoinette isn't to be off. I believe that for his escape he took advantage of flight and world bus. To learn this, I asked children from my this book to forgive me for I have rescued this girl with the best friend I have in the world. I have rescued this grown up, understand everything. Books for children. I have a third excuse. This grown up lives in French. Once when I was 6 years old, I saw a mugni. Once when I was 6 years old, I saw a magazine picture in a book called True Stories of the Virgin Forest. It showed a boa constructor soaring about this. Here is a copy of the drawing. In the book, it said boa constructors swallow their prey whole without chewing. After they are unable to move and they digest, they are going to live for 6 months. 大丈夫？ made me think a lot. This made me think a lot about the adventures of the jungle one. Eventually, I succeeded with the correct pencil in making my first drawing. My drawing number one, it looked like this. I showed my masterpiece to the grown-ups and asked if my drawing failed. And asked if my drawing frightened them. I would a hat fright. They answered, my drawing was not of a hat, it was of a boa constrictor digesting an elephant. So then I drew inside of a boa constrictor for the benefit of the grown-up. Grown-ups always need explanations. My drawing number 2 looked like this. The grown-ups now advised me to give up drawing boa construction altogether. The inside of the outside and devote geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. So it was that at the age of 6, they gave up a wonderful career as a painter. I had been discouraged by the failure of my drawing number 1, my drawing number 2. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves. Exhausting for children always the whole giving explanations. I had I had to choose a different career then, so I learned how to fly airplanes. I have flown all over the world. And geography, I'll admit, has served my value. And glad I can distinguish China from Arizona. It's very useful if you get lost in life. Of course, in my life, I have therefore had many dealings with many important people. I have lived a great deal more grown up. I have observed them from close up. I have not greatly improved my opinion. Whenever I came across one who seemed to me at all clear-headed, I would treasure my drawing number 1, which I always kept by me, to find out if this was somebody with clear understanding. But the answer would always be that it's hard, in which case I ought not talk to the person about boa constrictors of virgin forest or stars. I'd press myself on the level. I would talk about bridge and golf and politics and neckties, and Trump would be very pleased to have made the acquaintance of such a sensible fellow. So I kept my own company without anyone whom I could really talk to until 6 years ago, when I made the first landing in the Sahara Desert. Something had broken in my engine, and as I had neither mechanical nor passengers with me, I braced myself to attempt a difficult preparation all alone. It is a matter of life or death. I had barely enough drinking water last week. On the first night, then I went to sleep on the sand 1,000 miles from our human habitation. I was more isolated than a shipwrecked on a raft in mid-ocean. So imagine my surprise to be walking at deep like I found a little boy saying, "If you please draw me a ship." What? Draw me a ship? I flew up to my feet. My feet completely sundown. I rubbed my eyes slowly. I looked around slowly and then I saw a most extraordinary little fellow who stood there solemnly watching me. He had the best likeness that later on I was able to make of him. The drawing is certainly far less delightful than an original, but that is not my fault. I had been discouraged by the grown-ups in my career as a painter when I was 6 years old, and have never learned to draw anything except the inside of boards and the outside of boards. Now I was staring at this apparition before me, my eyes popping out of my head. Remember, I was 1,000 miles from our human habitation, yet this little fellow seemed neither to have nor to be dying of exhaustion, of hunger, or of fright. Nothing about him suggested a child astray in the middle of the desert, 1,000 miles from all human habitation. When I finally found my voice, I said, But what are you doing here?" To which he merely repeated very slowly, as though it were a matter of great consequence, "If you please, let me sleep." When the mystery is too overwhelming, you do not dare to question it. Absurd as it might seem to me, 1,000 here is the best likeness that later on I was able to make miles from any inhabited place and in danger of death. I took a sheet of paper and a fountain pen out of my pocket. Then I remembered that at school I had only probably studied geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar, so I told the little fellow with a touching irritation that I didn't know how to draw. He repeated, "That doesn't matter, draw me a sheep." As I had never drawn a sheep before, I copied out for him one of the 2 pictures that I didn't know how to draw. The boa constrictor was seen from the outside, and I was astounded to hear the little fellow say, No, I don't want an elephant inside the boa constrictor. Boas are very dangerous and elephants are very cumbersome. Where I come from, everything is tiny. What I need is sheep. Draw me a sheep. So I drew him one. He studied it carefully. Then he said, "No, that one is already very sickly. Do me another." So I drew another. My friend smiled gently, even indulgently. Surely you can see for yourself that's not a ship, it's a ram. Look at his bone. So I did my drawing once more, but it too was rejected, like the others. The one is too old. I want a ship who will live a long time. My patient was by now exhausted, so I was in a hurry to start dismantling my engine, so I rapidly stripped the drawing you see below. Then I added, by way of explanation, that is his box. The ship was you want inside, and much to my surprise, I saw the face of my younger judge light up. That's exactly how I want him. Do you think this ship will need a lot of growth? Why? Because where I come from, everything is tiny. Oh, there's bound to be enough. I'll give you a tiny sip. He bent over drawing. He's not as small as that. Look, he's gone to sleep. And so it was that I made the acquaintance of that little prince. It took me a long time to discover where he came from, the little prince. He asked me so many questions, seemed never to hear the ones I asked him. Yeah, from chance words dropped here and there, all was revealed to me. For instance, when he noticed my airplane for the first time, I am not going to draw my airplane. It would be far too complicated for me. He said, "What is that thing about there?" That's not a thing. It flies. It's an airplane. It's my airplane. And I was proud to have him know that I could fly. At which he cried out, "What? So you fell from the sky?" Yes, I answered demurely. Well, how very funny. And the little prince broke into a charming peal of laughter, which I found greatly irritating, for I like my misfortune to be taken seriously, he added. "You too? Then, come from the sky. Which planet are you from?" Suddenly, I had a glimmer of understanding into the mystery of his prince was here, and I quizzed him sharply. "So you come from another planet?" But he made no reply. He merely shook his head gently, looking all the while at my airplane. "No, you can't have barely found that thing." And he fell into a long reverie. Then, taking my drawing out of his pocket, he became absorbed in the contemplation of his treasure. You can imagine how intrigued I was by this half confidence about other planets. I did my utmost, therefore, to find out more. "Where are you from, then, little fellow?" "Where is this where I live that you mentioned? Where do you want to take my ship?" After reflective silence, he answered, "The best thing about the box you give me is that at night he can use it at his house. Of course, and if you ate good, I will give you a rope to tether him with during the day, and a post of tether him too." A purpose seemed to shock the little prince. "Tether him? What an odd idea. But if you don't tether him, he may go anywhere and end up lost." And my friend burst out laughing once more. "But where do you imagine he would go?" "Anywhere. Straight ahead of him." on which the little prince remarked solemnly, "That won't matter, there I come from, it's so very small." Then, with perhaps a hint of sadness, he added, "Straight ahead does not take anyone very far." From this I learned a second fact of great importance. The planet he came from was scarcely bigger than a horse. This was no great surprise to me. I knew very well that beside an important planet, Earth, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, and so on, to which names have been given. There are also hundreds of others, some of so small the one has trouble finding them, even though a telescope, when I atmosphere discovered one with it, he gives it a number instead of a name, so he might call it, for instance, asteroid 3251. I have good reason to believe that the planet from which the little prince came is the asteroid known as B612. This asteroid has only once been seen through the telescope by a Turkish astronomer in 1909. At the time, this astronomer made a great presentation with his discovery for an international congress of astronomy, but since he was wearing Turkish national costume, nobody would believe him. Grown-ups are like that. Yeah. Fortunately, the reputation of asteroid B6102, a Turkish data ordered his subject on pain of death to convert to European dress in 1920. Our astronomer repeated his demonstration wearing elegant evening dress, as everyone accepted his proofs. The reason I have told you so much about asteroid B612 and I let you know its number is because of grown-ups love figures. When you describe a new friend to them, they never ask you about the important things. They never say, what his voice like? What are his favorite games? Does he collect butterflies? Okay, does he collect butterflies? Instead, they demand how old is he? How many brothers has he? How much does he weigh? How much does his favorite father earn? Only then do they feel they know him. If you say to the grown-up, I've seen a lovely house made of pink brick with geraniums in the windows and doves on the roof, they are unable to picture such a house. You must say, I saw a house that cost 100,000 francs. Then they cry out, oh, how pretty. Again, you must say to them, the proof that the real prince existed is that he was enchanting, that he laughed, and that he was looking for sheep. When someone wants a sheep, it is proof that they exist. The grown-ups will merely shrug their shoulders and treat you like a child. But if you tell them the planet he came from is asteroid B612, then they will be convinced and will space you all their questions. That is how they care. You must not hold it against them. Children have no very indulgent toward grown up. Of course, for we Oh, if you understand life, figures are quite unimportant. I would have liked to begin this story in the manner of a fairy tale. I would have liked to write. Once upon a time there was a little prince who lived on a planet scarcely bigger than himself and who was in need of a friend. To those who understand life, that would have a much greater air of truth. You see, I do not want my story to be taken lightly. I have suffered too much grief setting down these memories. Already 6 years have passed since my friend went away along with his ship. If I try to describe him here, it is so as not to forget him. To forget a friend is sad. Not everyone have had a friend, and if I do forget him, I might become like those grown-ups who no longer care for anything except figures. It is for this reason too that I have bought a paint box and some pencils. It is hard to take up drawing again at my age, when the only attempts you have ever made were of the boa constrictor from the outside and the boa constrictor from the inside. When you were 6 years old, of course, I shall try to make my portrait as true to life as I can, but I am not at all sure of succeeding. Some drawing works, others do not. Sometimes my proportions are wrong. Here the little prince is too big, that he is too little. At that time I waver over the color of his clothes, and so I fumble along trying this and that. As best I can, I may even make mistakes as to more important details, but there you must forgive me. You see, my friend never gave explanation. Perhaps he thought he was like him, but unfortunately I'm not able to see sheep through the walls of the boxes. Perhaps I am a bit of a grown up after all. I must be getting old. なるほど。そうだ。はい。ということで、行こうと思いますが、めっちゃナルトじゃないですよ。ノンナルトですよ。はい。ということで、終わろうと思いますので、お疲れ様でした。今日も頑張っていきつつ、明日も朝活頑張りましょう。ということで失礼します。お疲れ様でした。